Hey, okay, we're on day 5. How have your first 4 days gone? I know that yesterday I wanted to kind of give you a break because I'm throwing all this stuff at you, and if we're really doing the work, sometimes, you start to do it and you want to focus on that, and sometimes you don't see the effects of that for maybe a day or two. So I wanted to kind of give you a little bit of a break, and that's how it's going to go each week. One day I might even just give you an affirmation or something, because honestly, like I said, I'm doing this stuff with you guys, and I know we've got lives outside of this. I really want it to be effective. I don't want it to become so overwhelming that you go, okay, I just can't do this, or I'll put this aside and do it later. Although you can do that, you can take this stuff and use it anytime. But what I wanted to talk about today is still within awareness. We're still within that same week. Going back to a little bit self awareness, a little bit more. And there's so much to awareness that honestly, to really get to the nitty gritty and peel those layers, layer after layer, what you're going to find is you get through one thing and you're going to, okay, something else comes up and you go, what's the matter with me? Am I not really healing, or am I not really getting it? No, that means you're actually working it. If you're breezing through this stuff and you're like, no big deal, you might want to go back and start over, because what normally happens, like when you're truly growing, and I'm sure you know this in other areas of life, if you've done this or if you've done this kind of work before, any kind of self improvement, any kind of spiritual growth, anything like that, it's like you hit like a plateau and you finally get it. It's like you have an epiphany, and it's so simple, but yet this is something that's like escaped your grasp for years, right? And then you finally get it, and then all of a sudden something else pops up and you go, what's wrong with me? Or why is this happening? Or why am I not grasping it? Well, it's actually the opposite. You are grasping it, you're growing, you're peeling the layers, right? So don't be too hard on yourself. I'm going to tell you that with anything that you do spiritually, don't be too hard on yourself. Forgive yourself and move on. I'm not saying to stuff it. I'm not saying to just like put it away like it doesn't matter. I'm not saying if you've done something like that hurt another person, I'm not saying to just say, oh, forget it. If you can, if you can make amends, make amends. But if it's going to hurt that person to make amends, then forgive yourself, forgive whoever's involved, and move on, and don't do it again. You know what I'm saying? Learn from your mistakes. So we're back to self-awareness. I want to focus back on the self again. um, and communication is really, really important. I don't want to just skip over that, but this is going outside of that again. I want to talk about triggers. Do you have anything? I mean, we all have pet peeves, right? But do you have anything that you found that truly triggers you, that truly will like change your mood like that? We all have different things, like small things. I notice some of my things, I'm like, whoa, and I don't notice that unless it's really interesting. That's why relationships are so important. I don't notice my triggers. I don't notice my pet peeves. I don't notice the things that really get under my skin unless I'm in relationship, unless somebody else is around me. I do live alone, but I could be alone all day, every day, and I'm not going to get to know myself better, because how do I do that without another person? That's how we grow. We're designed as human beings to be in relationship. We're designed to be in community. No man is an island. And I know I say that a lot. And I know sometimes it's nice to be alone. Some people hate being alone. Some people love being alone. We should find like a midway, because, yeah, alone time is good. Connection with spirit is good. We need that. In fact, we should always be aware of that and take that time every day to have that one on one time. And then alone time if possible. But we also need relationship. We need community. We need to interact with another person, but sometimes in a marriage, sometimes in a romantic relationship, sometimes with a friend, sometimes with family, whatever the case may be. But we also need to broaden that and be part of a community. And the next couple of days, the things that we talk about are going to focus around that. But how would you know your triggers if you weren't ever around anybody, right? see, I don't watch a TV, so I guess you could do it through a TV, but that's not the same, right? Because there's no interaction. So think about it. What triggers you? What triggers you? If you can come up with it, don't rack your brain. Just become aware. Okay? Throughout the next 24 hours. And like I said, with all of these things, you can keep it going. You're going to have to. I mean, it's really not enough time in one day, right? But I already said that. Enough said. I'm sorry. I was told I over-explained myself. Yeah, so what triggers you? Can you come up with 1, 2, 3 things? Why does it trigger you? Maybe you don't know. Maybe you could go, okay, so what are my triggers? Okay, trigger number 1, why? And you may get to that question and go, I don't know why that triggers me. I really don't. So just get quiet, take a deep breath, and ask. Spirit, God, universe, can you bring to me, call to me, invoke the memory, instant recall, please, of what causes this trigger within me? What is it within me that causes this trigger? It's usually a soul wound or something that has happened that's unresolved in your life, okay? And then next, what can I do? What can I personally do to get the best out of this knowledge, to make sure that my response is a response and not a reaction, and get to the bottom of this trigger, and what can I do? What is the best possible action right now, okay? And I'm going to send you a little like worksheet on triggers. And the other thing is, what are my protective measures? Like, what do I do naturally to protect myself? Like a protective measure, I think that's what they're called. I can't remember what I called it on the sheet, but it's like something natural inside of you, a natural ability, a natural talent, a natural reflex kind of, that we usually develop these very, very young. What is your protective action that you take in times of trouble, that protects your mental health, that protects your spiritual health? When the red flag goes up and you go, uh-oh, something, your body is like, something's wrong, or your mind is like, something's wrong. What is that protective shield? What is that protective action that you take? So for the next 24 hours, if you want to think about that, use your handy dandy notebook or your audio. I'm hoping you're using your notebook. I just have a soft spot for notebooks. I'm old school. I write. Somebody told me the other day, a young client, she had asked me to, she got a question. People can email me a question, and then I give them like an in-depth answer, and I email it back to them. So, and usually it's a very in-depth answer. I try my best to really go, like, I don't just say yeah or no, anyway. So I wasn't feeling well that day. I had done, talked to quite a few people, and it really drains me. And I just wasn't feeling good in general. So I shut off my phone. Now, my phone, for me to shut off my phone is my lifeline. My phone is my work. And I work, unfortunately, that's one of my things for this year, is to kind of put up some set boundaries and don't cross them, because I'm pretty much on call all the time. I mean, we don't know when someone's going to die or something or a tragedy's going to happen, and people call me for that. That's not all I do, but that's, they call me, and I'm kind of on call. And tragedies or crisis is relative, right? Something that may not be a big deal to you could be extremely huge to somebody else, but whatever. So I find myself working early morning into the early morning. And I was just tired. So I shut my phone off. And like I said, my phone is I don't have a TV. I don't have a computer. I use my phone for everything I do. PDFs to videos to audios to whatever. And I also use it for whatever entertainment, music or, videos myself if I want to watch videos or whatever. And to communicate, right? So when I shut it off, it's like, I need a break. I rarely shut it off. So I shut it off, and I had told her that. I said, listen, I'm going to shut off my phone for a little while, but I will get back to you. So if you try to reach out to me and I don't get right back to you, that's why the phone shut off. So I had answered her question. I wrote it down because I shut my phone off and I'm like, I'm just going to write it. It turned out to be about 13 pages long. Handwritten. I don't know, typed. That'll probably be, what, 6 pages, maybe 7. So I turned my phone back on and I sent it to her. I took pictures of it and I sent it to her. And sorry, my phone died. So she texted me back and she said, I'm really sorry you're not feeling well, and I heard you when you said you were drained, but I don't know how to read cursive. And I had printed most of it, but just automatically, because I'm old, I handwrite most of it. Where I went to school, handwriting was super important. I'm not gonna say my handwriting is like perfect, but it's good. I even had a judge one time say, "Wow, you got great handwriting." So I'm not saying it's perfect, but it's not really, really hard to read, right? So she's like, "Could you please read it to me and send it to me?" So I did. I did an audio for her. That audio ended up taking me 45 minutes. That's how much I had written to her. But it blew my mind. I was like, okay, she's 19, so the younger generation, they don't even see it, like, they don't know how to read or write cursive. That blew my mind. So if you have little ones, if you have a child, a little child, or if you have a grandchild, make sure they know how to read and write, okay? Because pretty soon it's going to become like read and write cursive, because it's going to become like a code. That's just like a side note, okay? Just something I wanted to share with you guys. All right, I'm going to send you the PDFs of those things I just talked about, triggers and protective actions, or protective, I don't know what I want to call it, but what you do to protect yourself. All right, guys, happy February 5th. It's an 11 day, which is actually a master number. Master numbers are pretty intense. They're pretty powerful. It's really hard. It's really hard for me to explain right now. I'll probably do a different video on it. But guys, if you need me, you know how to get a hold of me. And I hope you have an awesome day. Make it a great day.